Okay everyone, welcome to part one of two videos that I'm going to do on processing those scans that we're doing for the case study. So the first one is to work with this Geomagic application. That's the application we were using to actually acquire and store the scans. So here what you have to do is open it using My Apps. And I think I explained this in the lab, but in case I didn't, what I've done is I've saved the scans to the OneDrive. And when you run Geomagic locally, you can see the OneDrive. However, if you're running it in My Apps, you cannot see the OneDrive. So you have to copy the scans that you're going to work with onto your local hard drive and then open them from there. So that's what I'm going to do here. I will work on the sheet holder. So, and I recommend saving it like as the original one in case you mess up and you find out later. Okay, so when you open it, you should see, if you're working on the sheet holder stuff, these set of scans that we did. Okay, so we did a set of scans. You can see kind of different scans on the top of the face here. We did some scans on the bottom. I think we did a couple there. And then elsewhere we've got, you know, a bracket and a few other scans. I think one of these scans, something happened and it's messed up. Anyway, so the first thing to do really is to merge, like these ones here where we've got the complete face and we did multiple scans. The best thing to do is to use this merge command. So what I would do, what I recommend doing, is hiding all of the scans and then just kind of bringing one back a little, you know, one at a time. Okay, that one's no good. And then until you get on to the next scan or the next position. So just keep turning them on. So that's on this left hand side. In case you can't see what I'm doing here, on the navigator side, I'm in the bottom part of it, looking at the meshes. And I keep activating or showing those until I get to one which is not the one, it's in a different position. Okay, so I want to merge all of these together, so I'll go ahead and merge. Click on the merge here on the home tab, and it's a bit different, I guess, programming paradigm that's being used here. When I click on the merge, then it brings up these sort of process sheets or check sheets. And oh yeah, I should also mention, so if I want to rotate in 3D in this, I would use the right mouse button, okay, and hold that and just kind of move. If I want to pan, I continue to hold the right mouse button down, and then at the same time I click on the left mouse button to do the panning. Okay. Okay, so here what I want to do is I'm just going to select all the visible scans. So then those are automatically, these are all the visible ones. So just you can just check that and then just click on the check mark. Okay, and it takes a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds actually, because there's a fair number of scans being merged. Okay. All right, so then you'll notice that all the individual scans were removed from the navigator, and then we have this big scan at the bottom with all these other subscans all merged. Let's turn that off, and then look at the other set of scans. So here now we have the bottom face of the plate, and okay, and I think those are the only two. So let's go ahead and merge those. So again, selecting the two scans and clicking OK. Okay, perfect. So again, now we've got our two top and bottom plates. And then the other ones, I don't believe there's really any much other information. This sampled stroke, I think we had some different settings or something. Okay, and I think this one is just messed up. So anyway, okay. So let's go ahead and align our scans together. So the first thing, let's do the top face. And here what we're going to do, again, in the left-hand side in the navigator here down at the bottom, let's enable the origin. And it's very useful to align the scan with the origin. So that's what we're going to do. So we'll start with this top face. Let's do an interactive alignment. Okay, and what are we aligning? Well, we're aligning this visible scan. And then here, instead of hitting check mark, we're on to the next stage. And it's kind of weird the way that this, I'm not sure why we have two here. Let's just do one. And then what we should do is align, what I prefer to do is this upper left-hand corner, put that at the origin. Okay, so let's, we're in the top view, so let's use these handles now to kind of move the plate into position. And I can also do a rotate using the circular handle. So let's use this one to rotate here, like so, and then move this into position like so. So now it's just on the edge. And you know, if the edge is not square, you're going to see it, of course. And it can't treat this like an NX assembly because there are no, it's all a set of points. And the software has meshed it for us. In other words, it's connected these together to create these, what looks like surfaces, but they're all sort of mini surfaces in between all of the points. So there's really nothing to grab, no geometry per se to grab onto. So we're left with kind of eyeballing it here. Oops. And that's maybe the other thing, is don't have too many coffees that day. Okay, so there you go. There's our first one. So in order to complete the alignment now, we'll hit the check mark to say okay. So there's the first aligned. Oh, and I see I forgot to do this. Okay, so let's redo this alignment. We're going to be doing visible, everything visible. And yeah, so we aligned this top view, but I forgot to check the side view. And there's a bit more work to do here. One is we have to rotate this so that it's vertical. And then bring this down to the origin. And there we go. Okay, so let's move this down to here. And that's actually looking pretty good. So let's go with that. And again, if we check now, okay, so that's looking correct. Although, okay, maybe one more time. Sorry. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's switch to our top view. Yeah, this is looking a little low, so let's bring this back up. Okay, that's better. All right, perfect. Okay, let's move on to the next scan. That's the other merged scan. Okay, so what we're going to do, again, interactive alignment. We're going to choose this scan now. Then we move this into position. So first of all, okay, so I'm going to have to rotate this around. And I think it's a little bit more. Okay, and then we'll move this up to here, and then move this down below. And then let's choose the bottom view. There we go. Okay, so now, first of all, let's get this relatively rotated correctly. Move this over. Move this down. Okay, that looks pretty good. So let's again do an orthogonal view like here. All right, and we still have some rotation to do. Okay. Okay. Maybe slightly down a bit more there. Oh. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that, except I wanted to, I think, do that. Okay, and then maybe move this up slightly. There. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's complete the alignment there. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then let's now do the last one, or the last, perhaps the last couple. Okay, so this one, I don't think there's really anything new that you would want to use there. Let's check this one, not so good. Let's go here. Yes, okay, that's one that we should use. This one, not so sure. Whoops. Okay, that doesn't look right. that one off. What about this one? Okay, that's the messed up one. I thought there was one other one that we should make use of. Okay, that's one. Ah, this is the one. Okay, so let's go back here. So this here, you can sort of see that this has got the curved bottom. So this allows us to place it, and then we've also got a bit of the bracket. So let's do an interactive alignment of this one. Okay. And now this one, if I bring this over here and down, wait a minute, where is the top here? Yes. Okay, so that's the bottom. So then if we go here, oh boy. Okay, let's go here. Okay. Like so. And then a bit like this. There we go. Okay, that looks good. Okay, and then let's do the wrong side. Let's do the bottom view. Perfect. And then allows us to slide this one in. Somewhere, but let's go back to that side view. Okay, so we're a bit too high still. Okay, let's try again that bottom view. All right, and we can match up this weld here, so you can see these two weld scans of the hopefully same weld. Okay, cool. So that looks pretty good. Let's take a look at that. Okay, and then we have one other scan of that bracket. Okay, so let's do this one. So we're going to do an interactive scan or interactive align of that one. Now, part of the problem with this one is that it's not exactly clear which side here is top and which is bottom. Let me guess this way. Okay, and then we'll move this one down and then over, and it belongs over here somewhere. So let's take a look at the bottom view and see if that makes sense. Okay, and then it's a matter of just trying to match up the features. Helps also if you have a picture of this. So I'm not still 100% sure. Maybe it's this way. Because I can't remember which side had this. Okay, this is looking a little bit better. I can't remember which side this flange was on. Okay, let's maybe do the side view here. Okay, so still some rotation to do there. Okay, and then so some of these, yeah, so as I mentioned before, we can kind of use these other extra points to kind of line up the height wise. Okay, and then let's do the bottom view again. Yeah, I guess, yeah, there's the same weld. Okay, so let's kind of leave there. And then are we rotated? I guess that's about pretty good. Yeah. Okay, one more time to the side. Yeah, I guess, yeah, that makes sense right about there. Okay, let's take that, and there you go. So we have everything aligned now. So now what we want to do is do some cleaning up of the scans, because there's some extra, like all of this here, a lot of this is extra, which we want to get rid of because we don't really, oh, right, so these are extra points that we're trying to get rid of. So what we do is we go into the points area, and then we can very quickly delete these. Okay, so just going through and cleaning up the extra points. We'll see later that this scan has something like 2.5 million points even after cleaning. So, you know, to save your computers and frustration for when the computer goes down, if it has too much stuff that it's working on, then it's good to try and clean this up. Let's do a complete side view. Okay, and so just kind of clean that up. Perfect. And then, you know, just kind of do as much as you can. I guess I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Okay, but you get the idea. You can come in here and clean up all this extra bits. If you get some of the original scan, it's not to worry. There's an undo here, so you can just undo the previous activity. Okay. Okay, I guess I'll leave this other stuff. So that's the idea, okay? And then what I would do at this point is go File, Save As, and then do this like step 1 or something. So step 1. I save it in the original XRL file. And then the next thing we want to do is export it into a format for NX. So what are we exporting? Well, we're going to export everything that we see. Okay, and then we're going to click OK. And then I'm using this ASC. I think there are some other formats here that are compatible with NX, but I've been using this one. So let's do this. So I just call it sheetholder_exp for export. And say yes to overwriting in my case. Okay, and at this point, that's it. So that's the end of part 1. So that's the Geomagic part. The next part will involve using NX to create a replacement part. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye for now.